C2. No recount. All right, excellent. So we've got Slexia, Danelor? Danelor? I don't know. Venus, Mongoose, and Caledorn, all names that many of you guys are probably familiar with. And just a quick look here, I'm going to throw up the bands. We are going to Infernal Shrines, but the overall map list is a little bit bigger. There are 11 maps available in the rotation, and there are no bans. Not that we have any of that going on tonight, but
yeah. So we want funky heroes and funky maps. Although I do think that Braxis and Warhead Junction are both not in the rotation.
That is correct. Yes. So not too funky.
Yeah. I mean, Braxis is perfectly fine, but no one likes Warhead.
Oh, it sounds like we are getting started. Yay! We get to play the video game. So we're going to Infernal Shrines. Oh, that needs to move.
Infernal Shrines.
Oh no, it's fine. I just need to get rid of chat. So with what we've already got banned and this craziness going on, what do you think? Who would you look to ban now in this kind of adjusted setup? Apparently, Chen.
Seems like a good opening.
Yeah.
When you don't have to spend your bans on super high tier bans, you can go kind of more targeted towards certain players, especially if they play odd things that are possible to be seen in this. And B-Train definitely qualifies as someone that really likes to play Chen. And that's the thing. Keep in mind, everybody, that Chen is now banned permanently for the remainder of this match, however long it may be.
Poor B-Train.
Yep.
So the second band going to be Artanis. So, you know, this is interesting because it could set up for kind of an interesting setup of bans for like the future, right? So you could take bans in game 1 for the purpose of banning them out in game 2 and game 3.
Yeah, exactly. It's very good for target banning because you can actually start to remove key points of someone's hero pool permanently throughout the match. Diablo, so no Ana, no Diablo, no Artanis, and no Chen. Let's see what we get first pick. I'm expecting, probably considering how much frontline is being taken out of the game, something like Johanna, but we also might see a healer like Trond and or a damage dealer like Kel'Thas. Johanna
there
is
you go. Good call. Yeah, and again with the tank choke, I mean, because there are already 2 tanks that are out. Nubrak and Garrosh are gone, and then you add in Diablo, so who is now gone for the rest of the thing as well. So this is going to start getting a little bit tight. Are we going to see some like Taunt Varians, some Alganis, or do we even see some of the Bruisers coming into play like a Misha tank?
Yeah, we'll probably get to that point, especially in long matches where it's 3 games that go to 3 games.
Right.
But I think with the last patch, a lot of tanks have kind of come up a bit from where they were at, so it's not as dire as it once was. I think the Raynor Nazebo is pretty good, solid backline to kind of start out with, but I really like the Sylvanas pickup. White Mane seems a little odd to me. There's still a lot of good healers that I would prioritize above her at this point, but it kind of depends on the pool and how everyone's feeling individually on the heroes that they play.
And chat says that their entire purpose, their strategy is to tilt B-Train.
Hey, well, we'll see if that's successful. ETC is now permanently banned for the rest of the match, too.
Yeah, you just gotta have a plan. Muradin. See, and this is what I was thinking, that, tanks and healers are the most limited as far as, like, actual numbers, right? And so, especially when you start getting into a point of playing 3 matches, if one team or even both teams starts really pushing on that one role, as we get Morales and Tyrael looking for that Juice Pirates.
Yeah, it looks like Juice Pirates is incoming for sure.
Yeah, they could easily ban it out to the point where there are no tanks available. Or supports, if they went that road.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how the best, and again, along best of 3, that's for certain going to be the case. In, in a 2-game set, you probably won't get to quite that big of a dire point quite yet. If this was best of 5s, oh geez, it would get to a point where it was really silly.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's absolutely Juice Pirates. And the Gust is going to help if it's cast at the right time to try to negate it. Gust plus Silence Arrow should be plenty to try to deal with this. And they have enough siege on their side that they can kind of counter siege up on Juice Pirates comps. And they can just push almost just as fast. But we'll see how it goes.
Chat's just figuring out that we've got the Juice Pirates coming in too. Alrighty. Well, I'll go ahead and get started with the blue team here. So we've got Contender on Greymane, Spoticus on Raynor, Pink the Color on Lieutenant Morales, Cyan on Nazebo, and B-Train 704 on the Tyrael, and that's going to be the Found Vikings.
On the red side, we have the Arrow Twitch chat team, which is Mongoose on Johanna, Selexia on Sylvanas, Celadorn on Falstad, Danelor on the Whitemane, and Weenus playing Valo.
Alrighty, so splitting up the teams here. With that Sylvanas, they're looking to take into the bot lane and get some quick structure value here. And it looks like Found Vikings aren't even paying attention to it, but now they're pinging to get down here. So they get that tower down, but they get the block.
Yeah, I always feel like this maneuver is pretty risky and not really worth it since the structure experience changes came through. Like, most you're going to get is 150 experience off of that tower, and you get just as much, if not more, from just a wave of minions. So, and it's kind of shown the punishment there, as there's 2 dead now on the side, and that's a massive experience boost for the side of the Found Vikings, especially since they also soaked the mid wave before making the rotation.
All for just 1 tower. So, and it looks like they're posturing aggressively to get this camp, which they can do because they killed 2 of the chat members.
Yeah, it is a 5-man though push onto this camp, so they are actually, all that experience they did get from those kills and those waves is actually completely nullified by the fact that they let 2 waves crash without clearing them, trying to burn that camp down quickly.
Yeah, Falstad in the top there is working on making yet another wave that they're going to miss out on. But they are heading up. It looks like Greymane's heading over to the offensive Shaman camp now, too.
It's a risky play, especially as 2, but it doesn't look like that the Twitch chat team is in any position to punish it. So heads up play, nice and sneaky. They'll get a nice early camp pushing out. And the fact that they do at least have 3 members in each lane means they're also not falling behind in experience. So that camp experience is actually going to be pretty useful. And Falstad doesn't have fast wave clear, so he's going to struggle to deal with getting that camp.
Yeah, and he did go the Mage Stat build at 1, going for that Gathering Storm, as level 4 is coming up here for TFV.
One thing about that camp, though, yeah, it doesn't really, it goes around behind, so it actually doesn't get the support from the wave, so it doesn't end up doing as much damage as it probably could have if it wrapped around the other direction.
Yeah, the main value they get from that is that the enemy team can't, right?
Yeah.
Get a little bit of XP out of it, make sure your opponents can't get it, either the XP or the camp. Top lane's going to be a Frozen Punisher. So with Juice Pirates on this map, the only time I've ever played against it, the enemy team ignored the Punisher. They just went straight for the walls. Oh, geez, as Falstad gets sent back to the graveyard there.
Yeah, that invasion didn't go their way. Despite having 5 people on it, the positioning of the Falstad was just an easy pick-off for the Greymane and Raynor, which, by the way, is quite a bit of damage that's going to come out in a few seconds from both those heroes. They can both dish pretty ridiculous amounts of damage.
Yeah, so go figure that right now the organized play team is doing a little bit better about their macro play than the random Twitch chat team. But we'll see. I mean, it is still Juice Pirates, so if they can counter it, then it gives them a lot of value later in the game. So Sylvanas is looking to get the top shrine there as quickly as possible, and they're trying to save what they can out of these bottom structures.
Yeah, I mean, Juice Pirates compositions don't exactly care all that much about the objective, as they're just mainly focused on getting soaked and ready to. But they should be careful, because if they lose too much from the first objective with the Sylvanas push, that sets up their own keep for being sieged after the first kind of initiation from Juice Pirates. And this composition can burn down structures just about as fast. So it's a bit risky to just let this go, especially if they can't mount a very good defense.
Yeah, but they're already tied up with them here. Slexia there was a little bit low mana, so she couldn't quite get the full value out of the skeletal defenders. And Falstad flies up here to bring his team equal in 5v5 footing, but they're already just so low by the time he gets up here that they have to back away. Still about even, though.
Yeah, it's very close. The re-engagement's coming in, but like you said, there's no mana on the... and no health on the Vala either, so it's just a bit risky. But they do manage to pick up the Tyrael kill, but they kind of sacrifice the objective for it, and it's going to come back to bite them, because they're going to lose 2 in the process for it. So both Mongoose and Venus, and now Keladorn also going down, a 3-for-nothing or a 3-for-1 trade, and the lost objective. Things looking up for the Found Vikings.
And this is a Frozen Punisher. This is a good one for your team to get if you're the Juice Pirates, because you've got really great siege, and the Punishers now with that update lock down structures. So you're not having to deal with any potential incoming damage. You've got Raynor Greymane to just go absolutely ham on the structure for that 3 seconds, and look at how quickly that thing just goes down.
Yeah, Frozen Punisher is almost worse than, and I think, in fact, even early game especially, it's actually worse than the Arcane Punishers these days.
Yeah, because they scaled down the Arcane Punisher damage, right? So
yeah,
at the early game. So yeah, I think that you're right. This is the most valuable Punisher to get early in the game, and especially if you're a team who's looking for that, Morales gunship. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, this seems like a pretty risky play to allow the Juice Pirate comps to just kind of get a free keep in the top lane. I mean, if they manage to drop this, it's actually probably going to be the end of the game as soon as 10 hits. They might even just go right for it now that the keep is down.
And they do have 10 online here, so they don't have Raynor, they don't have Nazebo. So, but they only have Mongoose here to defend. And as much value as Johanna can bring, she's not quite going to bring enough to stop all three of them by herself.
No, there goes to the Sanctification, which is, you know, what I was expecting them to drop to kind of secure this. But Mongoose is shaking them on one merry chase here. And he might actually live through this.
Holy
after
cow.
Killing 3 heroes. That's Johanna for you with Hold Your Ground at level 1. That change just makes that talent, especially if you're being focused super hard as the Johanna, if you're really good at cycling it through, that's exactly what happens. You just live through everything.
Oh, and the stun on the Raynor, but he cues him back. I don't know if... Oh, the Blessed Shield just barely misses there.
The friendly ping's coming out for the missed skill shot.
So we do have heroics. So for the Juice Pirates, we've got Go for the Throat, the Raynor Hyperion. There we go. Medevac, of course, and they're actually on the point now, so that they can try to. Oh, the Gust. Okay, so there you go. So the Gust is used to secure the point and give them a nice, easy way to walk backwards. So the rest of those, we've got the Gargantuan and then, of course, the Sanctification.
They really wanted that goat camp. Although the Gust was pretty good because it actually disengaged the team pretty well, making sure that no one got focused super hard on that. But it just seems kind of a Gust burn for a goat camp.
Yeah, but it's a fairly short cooldown, and you know, given the way that things have been going, the only really questionable thing there is whether now they'll have it for the next time that they try to medevac in. So he's probably thinking, okay, Sanctification isn't up yet anyways. It's going to be a little bit. But now it's up. 10 seconds of overlap here, so we'll see what happens.
It's interesting. I wonder what the Found Vikings are kind of waiting for. It's 10 seconds on Gargantuan. They could absolutely make their core dive right here and now. But I think they're just going to wait for the objective to come up so that they're distracted.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I assume they're waiting to see them, you know, far enough away that they can't come, you know, counter it quickly at least. So who knows? Even I mean, I can't imagine that they will, but even if they just came up to this Mortar Punisher and got value there, you know, get some of the defenders and then juice your way over.
I mean, that makes sense. That way you can kind of bait them into that position. Doesn't look like the Twitch chat team is really taking the bait. They're trying not to commit to that shrine.
Yeah,
and like you said, it looks like the Found Vikings are just going to push it. But there's the rotation, and here comes the bees. So we'll see how well the timing of Sanctification and Gust is going to be. There goes. Oh. That wasn't very good. Actually, unfortunately, Sanctification blocked out most of Gust on 3 members, and it actually managed to stop the Wailing Arrow from coming through. So they'll get wiped here, but that's a 50% core, which means that the next time that they come back here for Juice Pirates, this is almost certainly going to go down. So the Twitch chat team really got to make something happen here. I like to see that rotation into the bot lane. They got to use these death timers to take down this bottom keep. And they've got to be able to push into core, because as soon as the Juice Pirates comp is up, 15 seconds after that, they can just zap over to the other side and win the game. So it's a really scary situation here for Twitch chat, but we'll see how well they do.
Well, and we do have a Khazra camp in here as well, so they can get a little bit more value out of that Merc Queen. But they got to make this fight work. And Medevac's up. They don't have any of the other ults really, so they've got a moment for that. But it's Johanna that goes down with that Go for the Throat, and Slexia dives in and gets picked off for it. So this could very well be game.
Yeah, the unfortunate part of all of that is losing members, because now the medvac's going to come up and they're just going to zap right to the core. And with 2 dead on the other side, plus Gust being dropped, that means they don't have a lot of ways to stop this from happening. Sanctification is up now in 10 seconds, and I expect that that's mostly what they're waiting for outside of the defense itself.
And we do see them, you know, coming over here, getting started on this, on the Punisher, getting the value that they can there, as now even Hyperion is up, so looks like they're kind of posturing aggressively. But they can clear this, so again, they have so much siege damage that they're just shredding these minions. And here comes the
If they can find an
E5.
engage here with the Blessed Shield really fast, they might be able to stop it. But the rest of the team wasn't quite behind Mongoose at that time, so he couldn't pop the Blessed Shield. If they can blow this up, that's a big win! Holy crap! There goes the Sanctification down to stop any of the incoming damage, but they do actually manage to stop the cheese from coming through. And now all they got to do is sit back and defend this. Maybe they can pick off Greymane too as well. Actually, he's blinded and pulled into the bottom line. And Twitch chat coming out with the strats, understanding that all they really need to do is blow up the Morales medvac. And this whole strategy starts to fall apart, but Mongoose is in really bad position. Looks like he might actually be going down. Mortar Puncher does slow plus extra damage, but they didn't lose the game rate here, which is still a big victory for the side of Twitch chat.
For sure, and now they've got 30 seconds probably until they can get another medevac, but they don't have the Sanctification because they had to use that when they came out of that broken medevac. So Weenus is coming back here to clear up this top lane, making sure that the limited catapults don't finish the game for them. The Mortar Punisher is still about 2/3 of its health, as TFV is now going to pick up the Shaman Camp and work on that top pressure that they've already got the keep down on.
So Arrow's minions really need to get in here and see if they can get a fight before the next Sanctification comes back up. Medevac is up and ready to go, but if they can get him to burn that, again, out of sync with the dive, they might have a chance to be able to stall this out. If they get 1 or 2 or even 3 kills off that, that gives them an opportunity to push that bot lane out and actually flip this around and turn the victory into, or turn the loss into a victory.
Could be. They're watching this this bush gank, waiting on the Tyrael Sanctification. And I don't know if, there it is. I don't know if you have enough of anything to deal with this. You do have all of your cooldowns, but even just the Sanctification is enough. So there's the pushback.
That was a pretty good gust, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough before they drop. No, they do. They get kills. Wow, actually, they might actually burn this down. That was a huge silence from Slexia, making sure that it doesn't go down. And now all they have to do is go to the other side of the map. Those death timers are pretty long, so if they can make a quick rotation here, they may just be able to salvage this game and come out with the victory.
And no Sanctification. I don't know if it got interrupted by the gust or maybe got interrupted by the silence, but they really coordinated those two abilities perfectly to make sure they brought down that team. And just the damage coming out of Sylvanas, the Vala damage, the Gathering Storm from Falstad managed to just burst them down super hard. They are going to get this keep now, but all 5 of them are up.
Yeah, but they can't afford another assault. So they do need to back up here, although there goes the Sanctification after the pick on to the Vala. Yeah, you know, I wonder if the right call here was actually just to disengage, kind of pull back, and then just try to catch them again on the next position on the map when they've got all their ultimates up, because the reality there was they didn't have Wailing Arrow or anything else to kind of deal with it.
Right.
But this is still pretty scary. Even without Sanctification, this 5-man can definitely just zap onto the core, and Gust was burned for that disengage. And that I think is the big thing. The fact that they got Gust out of that re-engagement is actually going to probably be the reason this game ends right here and now.
Yeah, they got from 37 to 15 last time. There was no question. Even without the Sanctification, they were going to be able to do that. So game 1 going over to TFV, but Twitch chat giving it a good show there.
It was very close. They did come back. I think there was 2 instances where they got, it's one of those things where you feel like you're on the timer with Juice Pirates, and you very much are. But I do think that the one fight that they took on the Shrine was the really good, that's what you really want to do, is catch a Juice Pirates composition out before they get the chance to launch with the medvac. And if you blow them up in those instances, then you can use that to get your advantages that you need to actually push through. And they had a couple opportunities where it almost worked out. Like I think even just in the bottom push, if they just pulled back, saved the gust, looked for them because they have to find positioning on the map to do it. They can't just zoop over from the core. They have to find a spot on the map. If you kind of can identify where those are at, you can set up your own ambush into those situations. And as soon as they try to gather up into the medvac, you blow up the medvac. They're all grouped up. You hit them with everything you got, and then they all die. Sorry about that.
No,
really long explanation.
That's fantastic. Because we don't see Juice Pirates that often. I've only seen it a couple of times just personally. I think Can't Counterpick Stupid lost to Rush B with a Juice Pirates. And I think I saw it in a Div D game as well. And that's it. Like, other than a practice scrim at one point. So throughout the whole season, that's all I saw. And let's go back to this. There we go. So,
although I have a feeling that Morales probably should have been globally banned if no one wanted to deal with Juice Pirates this tournament.
That's true.
And B, I would expect a ban for it this next round if you just don't want it to happen again. It is possible. I doubt they'll run it 2 times in a row, assuming we're getting a second game. But you never know.
We are. Let me get you in here.
I have like most of your teammates on my friends list. Why don't I have you?
I don't know.
I blame you. It's your fault.
All right, so... Oh, because Mongoose is on the other side. All right, we'll have to swap them. That shouldn't be too big of a deal, though. Where are we? Towers of Doom. So... Swap. Cool, and we've got this one. See, so that was picked by them. They won it, and then Towers of Doom. Blue. All right. Now hopefully that updates. There we go. Cool. So just.
Well, starting off as where we left off, banning out the tanks, the last kind of remaining top tier tank is out. They're going to continue to go down that route, removing the Arthas as well. So Manduin is gone, Arthas is gone, Johanna is gone. Let's see what's next.
So who do we have left? We've got Varian. We've got Mal'Ganis. We have Stitches.
Blaze. Curious can kind of play that role. Tyrael again, because he hasn't been banned.
True. Yeah, good point. And if you weren't paying attention, the teams did switch sides. Jason, what's going on? So Jason, we had a bit of a miscommunication, and so we're playing a Found Vikings versus Chat. Because we didn't have a team. So just throwing it out there just to kind of showcase the rules and see what kind of craziness we get as we get that Stitches, Cuddle Bear Stitches, and Slexia coming in on the Tyrande.
With the opening Rhaegar, I think we're getting Uther tank.
Good call.
In fact, looks like we're getting a full support comp, actually. So. I mean, the only thing that they're lacking with a comp like this, for the most part, is going to be wave clear. Rhaegar has some, but that's pretty much it at this point. So
I was just we'll see we
if they pick something else up.
Abathur.
Abathur definitely could help out in that capacity for sure. But Abba got banned. So.
Yeah, we did see. If you watched the charity tournament on Saturday. We did see a 5 support comp out of them. They played a Karazim, Lili, Zarya, Abathur, and I don't remember who the other one was. Maybe Medivh?
No.
Do you remember? Did you watch that part?
Yeah, I watched it.
CTV?
I'm trying to remember. It was 2 healers and 3 supports. It was Abathur, Zarya, Karazim, Lili. Jeez.
Well, you managed to restate all the ones I said, so.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to remember what the last one was. Yeah, it was Medivh. It's got to be, right?
It has to be. I feel like. I mean, there are just a limited number of actual support. Oh, look at this. A Butcher and Tassadar. This is.
Actually, I think it was
crazy.
Tassadar.
Oh, you're right. You're right. It was Tassadar.
Yeah.
Yep. So let's see.
So, triple healer, 1 support, and a Butcher. Sounds like the beginning of a joke. And we have a Stitches, Tron, a Malthael, Gul'dan, Valeera comp. I mean, that almost seems meta.
It's like these guys are actually trying. What's going on? Oh my goodness.
So, I like Valeera a lot in dealing with supports. Is, you know, the stun lock can be pretty nasty. Malthael is going to be able to get quite a bit of heals off of the quad melee we have on the side.
Yeah.
Of the Found Vikings.
You know, but you also have got.
We have B-Train on the Uther, Spoticus on the Karazim, Cyan on the Rhaegar, Contender playing the Butcher, and Pink the Color on the Tassadar.
All right. Take a look at these talents and see what kind of strange awkwardness we're getting. Of course, the DPS Karazim setup. Big hook.
It actually looks pretty standard to me.
Agreed. Gul'dan's going to get charged. Venus is close enough as well, though, that Cyan diving in is going to be the first blood.
Yeah, he wanted to try to get that kill on the Gul'dan. Forgot that Gul'dan has a ridiculously large health bar and
look at that hook.
Good self heals. It was a good hook for sure. Mongoose flexing the stitches.
Oh, and is he going to go down? It's close. 37? There it is. Let's check
one downside to one downside to having these 2 healers together is they both have pretty long cooldowns on their main heals. And Rhaegar is kind of the one that's going to fill out that little area with a little faster cooldown on his Q. And he was dead already, so he couldn't make it in time to save the Butcher. Feels bad when you die to poison with the triple support comp.
Right? And as Butcher, too, when you almost just want to say, okay, that's fine, I'll sit here and attack you. But I think maybe his W was down. And Stitches is looking at B-Train here coming in and saying, hey, I'm not afraid of you.
Yeah, so we're going to get the invade here, 4-man invade onto 3, and it looks like Tyrande in a bit of trouble. Or sorry, Valeera is in a bit of trouble, but, you know, Valeera does, it is Tyrande now that has in big trouble, and she is the one that dies. So, pretty successful invade there. Now, Valeera in the early game isn't very strong, but as you get past level 10, she becomes extremely difficult to lock down and kill.
There's no sound when it goes to the transition screen. Okay, so... But there is now. Okay. Oh, crap. That makes sense. Thanks, Jason. That screen was created, and I forgot to add the mic and game sound onto that. Appreciate that. So you guys didn't get the intro of the teams. Well, there you go. You can see who's playing. I'll do the pop-ups again so you guys can see it.
So the counter invade coming in, but it just doesn't seem to be quite enough yet, although Spartacus getting super low from all of that lockdown coming up from the side of Arrows Angels.
And Contender charging in on Weenus, trying to get him locked down there. He was pretty far away from his team, but unfortunately nobody was there to support the Butcher either. So quick check in on Stacks. He's at 31, and Tassar is almost halfway done with his quest at level 1.
Yeah, same thing with Gul'dan, which is also a scary prospect.
Yeah, no doubt. And we do see at level 1 the crippling poison, that's slow, coming out of Valera, and then wound poison at 4. So they are looking to reduce as much as they can on the healing. Malthael's in trouble in the mid as they do get him slowed down, but he's close enough to make it to the wall. Rhaegar trying to finish him off, but just not enough with that Ghost Wolf.
Yeah, Malthael's just got to be a little bit careful with his double soak. Sometimes what happens with Malthaels is they get into the kind of rhythm of rotation and they forget to look at the map. And that mid lane is where he can get picked off. So it's, no one's going to make that rotation all the way top in a lot of situations without him getting away. But you can really get picked off in that mid lane if you're not heads up. But he does manage to squeak away with his life and continues back onto the double support, or the double soak part of his kit.
So Spodek is playing the anchor up here just to make sure that he's got vision from above, and also to kind of play that jump in surprise. But he does try to go in and gets caught by the Valera and very low. Cyan now with that negative 50 healing is gonna go down thanks to that, as Danelor goes in deep to try to finish off that kill.
Yeah, it gets pretty scary to dive under towers against a Valera, especially. In fact, diving at all is going to be a bit of a scary prospect without efficient cleanses coming out. We do get 2 of them, as they did have the level 7 talents, but neither one of them had actually taken them in that fight, so there was no cleanse available for either the Kharazim or the Rhaegar. But the fact they have 2 now should help them out in future on those situations.
So I wonder, does Unstoppable stop silences?
Yeah, I believe so.
There's Kharazim getting the cheap shot from Danelor. And they will go ahead and trade their towers, their altars. And B-Train and Contender coming down here. B-Train's going to work on this camp, and Contender's going to clear up the bot camp.
Yeah, cleanses remove all forms of CC.
Okay. So,
but the Butcher is split from his team there, so he's actually going to go down.
No cleanse
that's
can
not
save
what
you
you
from
want to
that.
do. Nope, not if they're not in range. It makes it. And the call out wasn't there in time. The triple supports were just like, hey, you know what? We don't like that Butcher guy anyways. We'll just let him go.
So checking those stacks, going back a little bit to 46 stacks on Butcher. There's that cleanse going out onto Kharazim to keep him healthy and moving away from the cheap shot from Valera. So this is a 4v3 in the bot lane, but it's 3 supports, so they're able to pretty well clear everything up. Contender is back in the mix, looking to clear up this lane, get him some meat. And Mongoose is sharking around, saying, "Hey, let's go back in on this. We can get a kill out of this." There's
so the first cleanse comes out.
Yeah, and I don't know that the second one's available because I used it earlier, but heroics are online now for Arrows Angels, and they're gonna finish off the Butcher and maybe even the Uther.
Yeah, that early cleanse really cost them. Butcher probably would have lived had they been able to get that out when the hook came out. But unfortunately, that was not the case, and we're going to see Arrows Angels take the lead on the map in both experience, in kills, and almost structures for getting to that point.
Yeah, so they do have, for heroics, the Putrid Bile, which of course with the Cuddle Bear stitches makes it very difficult to see, especially on a map like this where there's a lot of blues and greens. The Tormented Souls, Starfall, Horrify, and Cloak of Shadows for Valyra to make sure that she can stay unstoppable for a while.
Yeah, there's only really 2 forms of CC on the side of the Found Vikings. So Tormented Souls should get actually quite a bit of value, especially if they take the cleanse at 13. On the red team, we have Divine Shield, and we have Bloodlust. We also have Land of the Slaughter, 7-sided Strike, and Force Wall. So really looking to restrict the movements of the low mobile heroes. They're going to really want to try to get onto either Stitches or Gul'dan and get the burns that way.
Big Horrify,
here comes Malthael. Right from behind, and that Tormented Souls just did an absolute monster amount of damage. But the Horrify is what really kind of put it in the nail in the coffin for Spartacus there, or sorry, for the Butcher there, as he kind of got feared into the tower and took a bunch of tower shots to the face.
Yep. And then the Gul'dan Corruption manages to take out Rhaegar thanks to that as well. However, Tassadar, I do want to point this out. Tassadar doing a great job of knocking out the Valyra from her stealth so that she could not get in on the, I think it was Kharazim she was chasing after, so good on him for that. And Mongoose looking to invade on this camp, knowing there's only 2 of them. What are they going to do?
Yeah, that was a pretty risky call to go for that camp in the first place, considering they were losing that structure to begin with. So, heads up play by Mongoose, realizing that, hey, we don't see them on the map. They're also not in front of us. Weena's getting almost destroyed by that 7-sided strike. We're going to see the Malthael rotate down. They're going to get the channels in. We see a bit of siege damage coming onto this fort, but the counter engage is starting to come in from Arrows Angels, and it looks like they might actually be able to get a hook here onto Cyan.
Yeah, and they've got them all slowed right at the line here, trying to get this last sapper to go through, but they will take it down. A big Horrify. It looks like it's going to be Kharazim is maybe the only one to go down from that. That was really close.
It looks like it. Yeah, they weren't in range to be able to hit the Uther who was up in the top part, and that could have also helped save other targets. So Kharazim, though, walked right into them, so that was a nice and easy pickup kill. I'm actually quite surprised by just the sheer amount of damage that Arrows Angels is able to put out against the Found Vikings, considering how many supports they have. But again, those long cooldowns on the heals really kind of stack up in some of the sustained fights, and if the Butcher's not converting kills off that, it becomes very difficult. And they have no real form of siege onto this bot fort. I mean, really, Arrows Angels can sit here and just hold on to this fort indefinitely for pretty much the rest of this match.
Oh, and we've got Butcher charging in onto Keladorn there. Contender's going to get stunned, though, by the Tyrande. The Unstoppable gets popped. Tormented Soul's going out, and they're going to get some damage out on Cyan and get that negative healing penalty, but the 7-sided, too many targets for it to provide any real kill potential.
Yeah, Keladorn was kind of in a bad spot there, but he does manage to be able to Wraith Strike himself out of it. The Force Wall was pretty well placed, forcing him to take a couple tower shots. But the focus right here is really kind of all over the map. Valyra's going to rotate down and grab that bottom channel. Wow. But I don't really see the Found Vikings making any move to be aggressive on to Arrows Angel side.
Other than the Tassadar, of course. But I don't know if you saw it, but Kharazim managed to stop the 3 sappers at the inches and goal. It was so close.
Yeah, he definitely made a wise rotation there. He knew they couldn't be aggressive in the top end, so he just went down and made sure that they didn't get extra free shots for no reason. Great fear, though, but it wasn't before the Divine Shield came out, and that might be just enough to keep the Contender alive in that exchange. So pretty much all heroics down on the side of Arrows Angels. We still have 7-sided and Force Wall available, but that's not going to do a whole lot as far as saving targets go. And again, the sustained fight just continues to go in favor of Arrows Angels. The Gul'dan damage is just too much for them to deal with on a consistent basis, and they make no headway onto this fort.
And they're down 25-13 now, as they did lose 10 points on that last set of altars here. But they're still trying to come in, but the Daenlor will go in onto Rhaegar. Rhaegar's only got 300, so he's got to back away. And even more damage going out on Spartacus from Weenus, just throwing out that corruption. And you said it earlier, they've got these long cooldowns, but they also have limited, in a way, they have limited AoE healing. They don't have like a Lucio, even like a White Mane or, you know, something like that to give them that. They've got Kerosene on a 8-second or 12-second cooldown.
Yeah, it's like a 10 or 12-second cooldown, and then they have Rhaegar chain healing, which is also on a... It's not a super long cooldown, but it's like not super short either, actually.
So 2 altars, we've got the sappers coming in. Technically, this is enough points for game. Although
if they can get the 3 pushed in, yeah.
There's no chance those sappers are going in, but there's the big Horrify onto everybody there, and it's going to be B-Train that goes down. The Slaughterhouse goes out. Unstoppable procced onto Butcher, trying to get Weenus down. He knows that's the biggest target for them that's caused the most problems. And
he just stays alive through it.
Yeah.
That Elun's Chosen proven to be more effective at healing than the triple healers on top of the Butcher.
They got 2 of the sappers in and both of the altars.
That's insane. So yeah, this is just a really bad spot for the Found Vikings to find themselves in. With 2 dead, this is definitely going to be a move onto the boss. Spartacus kind of gets caught peeking in, seeing if they got any progress in, but it's actually Tassadar that looks like he's almost about to die, and he does that gank combo in the top end. So Spartacus is looking for an angle in here, but he's just by himself. I just don't know if he's got enough to be able to stop this from happening. We have Rhaegar in the bot lane going after the fort, even though this is right now end of the game.
And there it goes. That's it. They're getting another kill out onto B-Train. So just to show you real quick here, we finished with 76 stacks of meat on Butcher, 17 on that Lunar Flare, and 11 on whoever was above Tyrande, their level 4 quest.
Yeah, Butcher just wasn't able to kill anyone, and I think it had a lot to do with what you're saying, the armor reduction, the anti-healing, the Elun's Chosen with on a Gul'dan who already has a ridiculous amount of self-healing and health bar in the first place. And then all of that crowd control, Valir kind of playing that secondary tank role really well and making sure that none of the dives ever got good sustained damage on the targets.
Yeah, and I'm just letting Mongoose know that I think they're done, but let me check. Guys,
I mean, if they just need a replacement for B-Train, I'm sure they could find at least one more person.
Yeah, I actually just sent him that exact, so let's I'm gonna put up the bands screen just so that you guys at home can see them real quick as I fix that page. All right, so you should all be able to hear us now, so please clap your hands in chat if you can hear my voice, and Ziltoid, if you wouldn't mind also saying something to make sure that they can hear you as well.
Certainly.
So
hopefully that's enough.
Yeah, hopefully. So guys, everybody out there in Twitch chat, I'm going to go back to the other page here. Everybody out there in Twitch chat, thank you very much for being patient as we got everything set up for the match. Obviously, this was not a exhibition match or whatever. Like it didn't count for anything. It was just for fun to show off the rules and kind of just get some time in and see how things looked. But you know what? It was fun. It was fun to see how this went out. Obviously, we got some cheese from ultimately, mostly from the Found Vikings, but it was fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, the Twitch chat members really made a statement there in game number 2, coming out with a strong composition despite the amount of bans that were in effect, and were able to clutch out a pretty exciting win.
Yeah, for sure. So check at the bottom of your screen there. Aha, there we go. We got some claps in chat saying that that they can hear me. That's awesome. So check at the bottom there of your screen along the ticker, just right down there. For the next few matches here, we've got one tomorrow, one Wednesday, and then I think the other one is June 2nd for this week's rotation. Obviously, the Found Vikings and Almost Legends are going to try to get their game in soon, TM. And then also, if you do want to watch an actual match taking place that is it's counts for something, I'm casting another match here at 11 o'clock, so in 2 hours, for the Zul'jin Distillery versus Bancho in the Zul'jin Distillery Invitational. So we'll find out later if Mongoose kicks my butt for saying that. But it's on the ticker. It's down there. So that's at 11 o'clock at night. Ziltoid, I appreciate you stopping by and joining me this evening. Is there anything you'd like to say to Twitch chat or Arrows Angels or anybody else out there?
Well, thanks for coming, everybody. It was a pleasure to be here to cast with Arrow for the first time, by the way, which I actually quite enjoyed. And hopefully we can do it again sometime. Your match, I think your casting is tomorrow. And then I've got the next, and then I have the match on Wednesday.
And who's playing in that one that you're casting? Do you know?
I remembered, but now I forgot. So just give me 2 seconds.
It's on the screen. It's calculated throw and Duratan's couch.
It is calculated throw and Duratan's couch. So
perfect timing. Way to go.
Doing that on my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/PSZiltoid, and we will catch you all then and there.
Excellent. And I'll be casting the Regen Blue and Team Training Wheels tomorrow at 10 Eastern at right here. If you're here, you know the location. I think that's it for us for right now, Ziltoid. So thanks so much again for joining us, and everybody out there in chat, all of you who joined us for the game, I really appreciate you doing that, organizing that, and getting this posted for viewing. So have a wonderful evening, and we'll see some of you in a couple hours.
Thanks, everybody.